Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Mallory and I am an American military wife living in Germany at the moment. I'm so glad that you stopped by my channel, whether this is your 100th time or your first time. Welcome. I'd love to have you as part of my tribe, so go ahead and click that red subscribe button down below so that you can see what I post in the future. So if you've been following me for any length of time, you know that pretty much all of my recent videos, actually all my recent videos, have been pregnancy updates. And I am now in my second trimester as I'm filming this. And so I wanted to do a little recap of the first trimester. Specifically, I wanted to talk about my must-have items for the first trimester. The first trimester really took me off guard because it did start out really good. I found out that I was pregnant quite early at 3 days or 3 weeks and 3 days pregnant. And so when you're that early, you're just maybe having some minor symptoms like bloating and breast tenderness and maybe slight nausea, but it's nothing too bad and it might just feel like you're about to get your period. And then as I went on, like I was week 4 passed, week 5 was almost over, and I'm like, I got this. Like, pregnancy is great. Like, I'm not really having any bad symptoms. I would feel maybe a little icky, but then I would take some ginger and it would make it go away. And so I'm like, man, I'm able to eat normally. I'm not having aversions. And I just kind of had this attitude of, yeah, it's, you know, it's going to be a little hard sometimes, but I'll get through it and whatever. That was totally not true. Now, relatively speaking, I know that a lot of other women have much harder pregnancies and first trimesters than I did. So I'm just talking about my experience. Everyone's experience is going to be different, but in my bad moments, they felt like the worst. I think what made it harder for me is that I didn't expect it to be that hard, especially the utter exhaustion. I think I talked about that in my week 7 video, which you can find in the cards up above. That was probably my hardest week. Definitely don't overestimate yourself because you just don't know, especially if it's your first pregnancy, what it's going to be like. And I will say, if you are in the throes of the first trimester, which you very may well be watching this video because you're like, what can help me out with my first trimester? It will pass. Even if it doesn't end at the beginning of the second, like eventually your symptoms are going to go away, whether that's as the pregnancy progresses or after you give birth. Like, it's gonna go away at some point. So just hang in there. I know it's hard. There's gonna be some awful days, but you can do this. You can. All right, so let's get into some things that helped me out. This is not medical advice. I will be talking about some health-related things first. So make sure that you consult your OBGYN or midwife before you start any supplements or new regimens. Okay, so the first thing and like the most important thing is to have a quality prenatal. There are a ton of prenatal options out there, but unfortunately, many of them are either made mostly of synthetic materials, of synthetic ingredients, or there's not enough. Or maybe they're mega doses and your body doesn't need that much. So personally for me, so remember, I'm living in Germany right now and we cannot have vitamins or supplements shipped in from the United States. So I had to find something in Europe and I found the company BioCare. They're from the United Kingdom and they actually ship worldwide. And so if you're in the US, you can order from them. So I'm taking their methylated pregnancy prenatal. So it has methylated folate in it, which is the most absorbable form of folic acid. Folic acid is actually the synthetic version of folate, which folate is found in things like leafy greens. And for many women, folic acid may be harder to process into methylated folate. So I take the methylated folate kind of folic acid because that's the best absorbed. It is a 2-pill a day supplement, but the pills, they're capsules, so they go down really easily. They're not the tablets, and I have not had any problems with feeling sick. I do always take them after a meal, but I haven't had any problems feeling sick. And usually after I take my supplements, which is not just the prenatal, it's a bunch of other stuff, I usually feel better. Like I have more energy, especially when in my first dose of the day. I feel great. My prenatal has never made me feel sick. Okay, another supplement that I have been taking in pregnancy is B6. So you'll often hear B6 recommended as a anti-nausea, natural anti-nausea remedy. And what I started doing, I was taking like a pretty low dose at first, like 10 milligrams, and that wasn't doing anything for me. And so I think I read it was on the Mama Natural website that she took 25 milligrams of B6 3 to 4 times a day, and that 100 milligrams is the highest that you should go during pregnancy per day. So I started doing that, and that really made a difference. So we're gonna start show and tell now. Another health item that I started using that's totally safe is C-bands. So these are anti-nausea bands that you put on your wrist. They have a little ball here that is for your pressure point in your wrist, and it's like the anti-nausea pressure point. And so you put them on both of your wrists, and they look like little 80s sweatbands on your wrists. But this is supposed to help you with any type of nausea, car sickness, motion sickness, seasickness, pregnancy sickness. So I don't know how effective they are, but I wore them a lot. Sometimes I'd wear them overnight so I wouldn't wake up feeling sick. So I don't know. They were just a good insurance policy to have for another remedy on hand. Okay, another thing that I used a lot, especially in those first few weeks, like weeks 5 and 6, before I started feeling super bad, are these doTERRA ginger drops. So these are a fairly new product. So just for full disclosure, I am a wellness advocate with doTERRA, so I earn commissions when people buy stuff. These drops, they just look like ginger candies. Here's what they look like. And when I started having that like icky feeling, I would pop one of those and it would really help. Now, to be totally transparent, after I started feeling really bad, like week 6 and 7, these started really grossing me out and I had to stop using them. I was kind of bummed because I thought this was going to be like my magic potion, you know, for morning sickness, and they just, I don't know. It was just like the ginger grossed me out. I wasn't able to drink ginger tea, but they did work for a little while, and you know, every woman's different, so it may work for you long term. But I did like these for a limited amount of time. My final item in the health category is a good large water bottle. So I went to the PX, which is called the Post Exchange. So it's kind of like the military version of Walmart or Target, just not as nice as Target. And I bought this hydro flask. You can also find this on Amazon, you know, if you're not military. But this is the 32-ounce bottle. It's not glass, but it is a safe material. And so it's just, you can see in there. So it's very large. So 32 ounces is almost 1 liter. And my doctor told me to drink at least 2 liters a day. And then now that it's hot outside, to do 3 liters a day. So one of these is, you know, or drink 2 to 3 of these a day, according to my doctor. My one downside for this water bottle is that you have to unscrew it in order to take a drink. And I would prefer something with a straw, especially while I'm at home. So I don't know, there might be some kind of top to this that you can get with a straw. Sorry about that. My memory card became full and I had to delete a few things. So our next must-have pregnancy category or first trimester category is food or food-related things. So after the ginger drops stopped working, I was like, I need something else that's I can pop in my mouth that can kind of prevent me from gagging or feeling sick. And somebody in a pregnancy group that I'm in recommended doing sour hard candies. It's kind of like a substitute for Preggy Pops. Basically, Preggy Pops are sour candies with B6 in them, and I can't get those here because they're considered a supplement. So instead, I ordered these from Amazon, and it's these Tori and Howard organic sour candies. And this one is a pomegranate and nectarine flavor, and it came in a pack of 4 tins. So these are really nice tins. They can be used for something after, but there's no nuts, no GMOs, no corn syrup, gluten-free, wheat-free, casein-free, soy-free, dairy-free, no artificial dyes. So these are really quality candy. Just don't eat them on an empty stomach, because I've done that and it's not good. So, but basically whenever I'd feel the gagging sensation, I would just pop one of these in my mouth, and it would, you know, kind of take that sensation away. Another thing that I really like as far as snacking goes, and also I have to be gluten-free, so if anyone else is watching this and you have to be gluten-free as well, are the Glutino gluten-free pretzel sticks. I think it was the combination of like the crunchiness and the salt that helps like kind of take away morning sickness, nausea feelings. And if you're not gluten-free, you could just get a regular bag of pretzels. But I love having these on hand, having them in the car, in my purse, around the house for the times that I just need a quick bite. And these are very satisfying. Another thing during the first trimester is that I was just so exhausted and so icky feeling that I just did not want to cook. And so I basically didn't cook, hardly cooked, for like 3 weeks probably. And so my husband and I survived on frozen meals. And for me, because I was having a very severe meat aversion, so I did not want to touch any type of meat. One of my go-tos for frozen dinners was Amy's. I can link them in the description box below, and I'll have as much of this linked below as I can. I really liked Amy's frozen foods. I could find it at the commissary here. It's not a European thing, it's a US thing, but the commissary carries them, and I think they're all either vegetarian or vegan. So there was no meat in it. I'm not a vegetarian, but at that time I just wasn't eating meat. And they have like mac and cheese, enchiladas, Asian dishes. So those were a really good go-to. Also, I would eat a banana first thing in the morning instead of doing crackers. I did try the cracker trick, but it just, I don't know, it just wasn't that great. It was just so dry in the morning, and a friend recommended that I try a banana. And so I started eating half to a whole banana in the morning before getting out of bed. I'd keep it on my bedstand the night before, and that really helped with getting something in my stomach, getting some good minerals. You know, there's potassium in there, drinking some water, and that really helped like hold me over from the time I got up out of bed, went to the bathroom, threw on some clothes, and then came out to have some breakfast. Okay, finally, our last category is just random pregnancy stuff. They really don't have a category. So the first thing is the belly belt. Now you might think that first trimester is too early to be using a pants extender, but even before your bump starts showing, you're gonna be bloated most likely. And I was bloated really early and seemed like it was a lot of bloating. So I started using this. Actually, somebody gave this to me. She either didn't use it or hardly used it. And the set comes with like 3 different sizes. And basically you just attach it to your buttoned up pants and like button it with this thing to your pants, and it extends the life of your pants while you're pregnant. And so I've been still using this even into my second trimester, as I do actually have a belly, and I've been using it with my button-up shorts. So a belly belt is a really good thing to have on hand, totally worth it even if you have to buy it. All right, another thing, once I started getting sensitive to smells, like especially around like week 9, I was like, I need to get some candles for our home. I don't really care about the toxins. Like, I rid our home of a lot of things that are more toxin producing, and that included candles. But at that point, I was just like feeling like gagging so much. And I was like, I don't care. Luckily, there are some candles out there that are a little safer. They use essential oils. The wicks aren't made of lead. And so at the PX actually, and you can find these on Amazon as well, I found these, they're called Essential Elements by Candlelight, and they use essential oils and natural wax. So that is really cool. This one's a blood orange and teak wood, and it smells really good. So I definitely recommend like having some candles on hand if you need a mask of smells, but sometimes you just need to clean as well. All right, another thing that was a must-have for the first trimester, and then I got pretty much right away, like in week 5, is a pregnancy journal. Now, originally I thought I'd want like a printed journal from Amazon or whatever, but then I was looking at all this stuff and I'm like, I don't really know what the inside looks like. And it's gonna take a few weeks to get here, and I wanna start journaling now. So I went to Etsy to look for printable journals, and they have a bunch. So I went through all those, and I actually ended up buying 2 printable journals because the first one was like, okay, I wasn't like super impressed with it. But the second one I really liked. It's very simple. And so I just print the pages out, the weekly pages, and they have other reflection pages, and put them in a notebook. And then that way I can also use that for taking notes for my doctor appointments. I have my Mutterpass in there, which is a German thing. It's like this passport basically for mothers that you bring to each appointment, and they write down your statistics and your results from all your stuff. I think I would prefer a printed, like nice hardcover one, and maybe I will, like once we move back to the States, maybe I will get like a real pregnancy journal and just kind of like rewrite stuff or whatever. But for now, living overseas and just having limited access to stuff, or like stuff takes longer to get here, a printable pregnancy journal is nice, and they are cheaper. So they were like, I think the first one was $12 and the second one was $15. So the fact that I didn't really like the first one wasn't a big deal because it wasn't that expensive. But either way, even if you just get a plain old notebook and are taking notes, writing stuff down, you want to document this pregnancy. You want to write down what you're feeling, because once you're on the other side of the first trimester, you want to be able to look back and be like, wow, I got through that. Yes, you know, it's so much better now. So definitely recommend documenting. Okay, now this is not a must-have, but it's definitely a fun to have, and that is having a fetal Doppler. I've talked about this in other videos, but this is the one I have. My mother-in-law got it for me, and it's called Up and Raise. That's the brand, and it just sits in this, and then you use it on your stomach like that, and then this is the speaker. So, and of course, if you get one, you will need electrode gel. So this is the electrode gel that she sent me. It came with 2. Again, not a must-have, but a fun to have. And then my final items for first trimester must-haves, and really it's for all pregnancy, are pregnancy phone apps. So my top 3, the three that I use for pregnancy, are the Ovia pregnancy app, the Bump app, and the What to Expect app. And I would say Ovia and the Bump I like those better than What to Expect. But every week I look at each app and look at what each one says, because they all say like something slightly different. But I really like Ovia for the tracking aspect. So if you aren't a written journal type of gal, then you may like Ovia because you can take notes in there. You can make notes about your mood, what you ate, what your weight is. I mean, it's a really, really comprehensive tracking app, and it's free. So definitely download at least one, if not more, pregnancy apps for your smartphone. Okay, you guys, so that is it for my first trimester must-haves. I plan on doing one of these videos for each trimester, so second and third. Let me know in the comments what you think, and if there's anything that you have found helpful in your first trimester, whether you're in it right now or you've been pregnant in the past. I'd like to hear other people's recommendations and tips, so leave them in the comments below. And in the meantime, I'll chat with you there and see you in the next video. Bye!